Sharon Nelson was a Seventh-day Adventist pastor's daughter. But behind her smile was a calculating killer. Perry Nelson was her second husband. In 1983, he disappeared without a trace. Sharon collected his insurance.
We need to move faster. The current is picking up. Keep your eyes peeled downstream.
Engine 4, status check. We show you en route to the Elm Street incident. Advise on arrival time.
Then came Glenn Harrelson, a Denver fire dispatcher. Sharon married him and things turned dark fast.
In 1988, Glenn's home caught fire. Firefighters found his body inside, but he had been shot twice before the fire.
Detectives connected the dots. 2 dead husbands, large insurance payouts, both married to the same woman.
Was arrested and charged with murder. She pleaded guilty to first-degree murder of Perry Nelson.
She was sentenced to life in prison with no parole for 20 years. The Black Widow's web finally collapsed.
Sharon Nelson killed for money and control. 2 men died so she could collect their insurance. Sharon grew up as a pastor's daughter. She learned to hide darkness behind a mask of faith. Her first husband was the only one she didn't kill. But the pattern was already forming.
Clear Creek Canyon is beautiful, but in 1983, it became a grave for an innocent man.
Sharon knew exactly where Perry's body would end up. She had planned everything carefully.
My brain's right. Somebody else doing us down. Maybe times we're not to church.
With Perry money, Sharon bought a new life, expensive clothes, new cars, and then she found another husband.
Glenn Harrelson was a fire dispatcher. He saved lives for a living. He had no idea Sharon would take.
Sharon and Glenn married in 1985. She promised to love him forever. Her promise lasted 3 years. Their home looked perfect from the outside. But inside, Sharon was already planning Glenn's death.
It's all here, just like we discussed. Get this out of the city tonight.
Don't worry, it's handled.
That night, Sharon took Glenn to a romantic dinner. She was loving and affectionate. It was all an act.
Glenn had no idea what was waiting for him at home. Sharon knew exactly what was coming. He walked her through the front door. In the darkness, the accomplice was waiting with a loaded gun.
2 gunshots to the face. Glenn collapsed. Sharon watched without a single tear.
They poured gasoline everywhere. Sharon lit the match. She wanted to make sure no evidence remained.
Get that line moving. We need more pressure on the second floor.
Watch the structural integrity. Stay focused.
Dispatch, we've got a shooting. This wasn't an accident. I need the homicide unit on scene now.
Detectives arrived at dawn. They found bullet fragments, gasoline residue, and a wife who seemed too calm.
We have evidence placing you at the scene. Care to explain?
Your evidence is mistaken. I have nothing to hide.
Keep quiet, Sharon.
In 1989, Sharon Nelson was arrested for the murder of Glenn Harrelson. She showed no emotion. The prosecutor presented a mountain of evidence, bullet fragments, gasoline, and a witness who talked.
I have to tell the truth. She had a plan for both of them.
Friends testify Sharon never cried. She bought new cars and took vacation days.
Not once, and she bought a new car and went on a vacation just days later.
Sharon collected over $800,000 from both deaths. Money was her only motive.
The defense claimed Sharon was a victim too, but the jury saw through the lies. Guilty of first-degree murder. The jury deliberated for only a few hours.
The judge sentenced Sharon to life in prison without parole for 20 years. Justice for Perry and Glenn.
Sharon Nelson was led away in handcuffs. She never looked back at the families she destroyed.
Perry Nelson's children finally had answers. Their father was murdered by the woman he trusted most.
We just want justice.
Glenn Harrelson's family waited years for justice. They never stopped fighting for the truth.
Sharon Nelson entered Colorado State Prison. The Black Widow would spend decades behind these walls.
Sharon Nelson became inmate number 12345. Her charm and manipulation meant nothing inside prison walls.
Perry Nelson was finally at peace. His killer was behind bars where she belonged. Glenn Harrelson saved lives as a fire dispatcher. His life was taken by the one person who should have loved him.
Sharon Nelson sits alone in her cell today. She has no visitors. No one waits for her release.
Glenn Harrelson is remembered by his firefighter brothers. His legacy lives on in the Denver Fire Department. The Denver Post called her the Black Widow. She became one of Colorado's most notorious female killers.
No family members visit Sharon Nelson. Her own children cut all contact after her conviction.
A plaque now hangs outside Perry Nelson's former office. His patients still remember his kindness.
Glenn Harrelson's photograph still hangs at his old fire station. He is never forgotten.
In prison, Sharon Nelson is isolated. Other inmates know what she did and want nothing to do with her.
Perry Nelson's body was found 18 months after his murder. His family never stopped searching. Sharon bought furs, jewelry, and luxury cars with the money from her murdered husbands.
The district attorney called Sharon Nelson one of the most cold-blooded killers he ever prosecuted. She was once a pastor's daughter. She became a cold-blooded killer who murdered for money. Denver, Colorado will never forget the Black Widow, who killed 2 husbands for insurance money.
Perry Nelson's sister now speaks about domestic violence. She wants to save others from her family's pain.
Glenn's firefighter brothers gather every year. They share memories and keep his spirit alive.
She planned both murders with cold precision. Every detail was calculated. Every move was deliberate.
Sharon Nelson, a middle-aged Asian woman, appealed her conviction 3 times. Each appeal was denied by the courts.
Glenn Harrelson. Glenn Harrelson is honored every year at Fallen Firefighters ceremony. He is never forgotten.
Clear Creek Canyon holds a tragic history. But Perry Nelson's memory lives on in those who loved him.
Sharon Nelson lies awake many nights. She knows exactly what she did. She just does not care.
Perry Nelson's children grew up without their father, but they never stopped fighting for justice.
Glenn Harrelson's firefighter helmet is displayed at the station, a reminder of the hero they lost.
Sharon Nelson sometimes sits in the prison chapel. No one knows if she ever found God again.
Sharon Nelson will spend the rest of her life inside these walls, 23 hours a day in her cell.
The trial captivated the nation. A pastor's daughter turned Black Widow. It was a story no one could believe.